Hi, and welcome to the first edition of Joseph Whiteside Speaks with interesting people to talk about cool stuff, or JWSWIPTEX for short. Today I'm joined over the phone by my friend Steph Plant, whose song you're hearing right now, called High Noon, released on her album Solar Songs in 2023. Steph is a musician, educator, mother, and most of all, a deeply spiritual person. We're going to be exploring how the process of redefining oneself spiritually directly affects the private writing and public performance of music, all in the name of advancing inner and therefore world peace.
So my name is Steph Plant. I'm a musician, a singer-songwriter. I'm also a Montessori teacher. I have my own classroom of 25 children that I connect with every day at Metro East Montessori School in Granite City. But my passion is actually sharing my music and connecting with people through music and through other realms of being. I really love it when music connects to people's spirits and souls, and when people can be really vulnerable in the experience of music. And so that's definitely my passion, and my songs that I write are really, really personal and from my heart. But when people hear them, they feel like they're talking about their own experiences.
I can see it's a really personal type inside thing. How did you get to where you are now as it relates to your spirituality?
Yeah, I was raised a non-denominational, born-again believer in Jesus, raised in a non-denominational church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When I was a child, I was homeschooled. And so the Bible and the concept of that particular interpretation of the Bible from that sort of culture was ingrained in me from the time I was born. And then when I was 7 years old, my parents decided to move overseas to be missionaries over in the Middle East. So my mom and dad took me to Cairo, Egypt with my brother and sister. And we lived in Egypt from the time I was 7 to when I was 17, actually. I lived there all of my elementary, middle school, high school experience. And then we were actually had to leave Egypt. We had been involved in some illegal underground church activities. It's actually against the law to support the process of Muslims converting to Christianity. So we ended up being blacklisted and our visas were revoked. So we had to leave Egypt, and then we moved to Casablanca, Morocco when I was a senior in high school.
Music and spirituality for Steph have always been a huge part of her life, and especially Christian music. Starting out, she told me the first songs she ever wrote were songs about Jesus, and of course, all her mom's albums were songs about Christ's and that particular interpretation of the Bible. She went on to tell me about her experience as she moved back to the U.S. as a college student, where her faith ended up taking a new chapter, deciding to step away from the fundamentalist evangelicalism and opening up to other philosophies and theologies to find her own faith in a less rigid place.
I was interested in poetry, I was interested in art and music, and I wanted freedom and fluidity in my relationship with God, and I wanted to be able to pick and choose my own way around the Bible, because we all do that, every kind of Christian is gonna pick and choose which parts of the Bible are the most important to them. And I wasn't a fan of the concept of hell, and I wasn't a fan of the concept of sin. Honestly, I had some conflicts about that, and so I ended up going on a different trajectory with my faith, that wanted to be more open to other religions and other paths and other ideas, and also open to mystery, which was way more important to me than knowing what I believe. I wanted to have the kind of faith that was open to the truth being mystical and the truth being something I could continue to be curious about instead of nailing down what I committed myself to believing for the rest of my life. I wanted to be able to have open hands to truth and when it comes to God, because I don't want to decide what I believe about God all the way. I want God to continue to show up in my life and reveal truth to me every day, and be able to be open to the mystery unfolding. And that might feel like it's unfolding truth in Buddhism, and unfolding truth in Islam, and in Baha'i, and all the other religions that I find to have so much wisdom. But yeah, as of now, I find that my heart is really deeply connected to spirit and to God, but it's in a more mystical way, and it's a more poetic way, and isn't as much rooted in Christianity as it used to be. Even though I still have a deep love for Jesus and for God, and I still love the Bible, a lot of it anyway. I think there's some of it that I still find to be challenging as my canon, you know.
In 2011, Steph released her first album, A Reminder, a collection of acoustic folk-type songs she'd written while in college. It would be 12 years between that album and her next aimed at the general public.
In my mid-30s, I became compelled by a reanalysis of my heart's receptivity to magic. And I felt like I could be a kid again in wondering how much magic I was willing to believe in. And by magic, I mean wonder and awe and bliss, and mystery and the unknown. I think in 2007, or whenever I recorded a Reminder album, I was feeling more lost and more conflicted about the truths, and feeling pressured still, hoping that I would find the truths when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to religion, when it comes to holy text and how we interpret it.
This is an excerpt from her 2011 song, I Am Open to You, which one might say retrospectively serves as a foreshadowing to the openness to spirituality Steph would begin to adopt in her personal life.
Feel like truth is something that I feel, and something that I am still waiting to open up for me every day, without expectation that it comes clearly with words and a solid doctrine that I can write down. I want to be a believer in all things mystical and magical. And when I say a believer, I mean someone who is open to receiving the truth from all of those things. I want to have faith in how God is interacting with me through children, through the changing of the colors of the leaves, through water, through my own body. And I'm grateful for all the people who come alongside me to help me believe in prayer again, to help me believe in how my singing voice can connect me directly to source. And I don't have to have grief or shame anymore about Jesus. Because that I spent a lot of time feeling like if I'm not a Christian, then Jesus has to be something that I keep at arm's length. And I don't think I have to tell myself that I'm not a Christian anymore, because being wounded by the church and being injured by people who have certain interpretations of Scripture can leave lasting scars. and can make you harden your heart. And I didn't want to do that. I've never been someone who has any hardness. I'm someone who's ultra soft. And so that's exactly why I wanted to move away from a Christianity that felt like it was making everything seem rigid and everything seem like it has to be black and white. I wanted to be able to wade in the gray waters and be able to see what clarity I could find there for myself, apart from what other people told me. And I don't think that I've reached any kind of a divine wisdom or inspiration about anything that I can nail down, and I like that. I've never been somebody that needed everything nailed down. I think that was something that was maybe impressed upon me more than anything. For now, I'm just really grateful to be surrounded by people from all spiritual backgrounds, and that we can all recognize the truth in each other's living, in each other's lived faith, and in each other's lived out love, and how love and God's love is living through us. Because I'm not going to just repeat a phrase from the Bible and feel content that makes me a Christian. I want to live a Christ-like life, and I want to have Christ radiate out of my heart. And I want that to be something that's experienced by other people instead of them just hearing the right words coming out of my mouth. So I don't know if that answers your question. It is very deep personal stuff, and I like to talk about it because it's important to me, but I guess I don't have all of the words yet, I think, because it isn't a words part of my experience. It's a feeling part of my experience.
Set to release in late 2024, Steph has a new, yet-to-be-titled album coming out as she continues to chronicle her still-evolving spiritual self in the pursuit of more and more of the truth.
All the songs on the album are on the theme of the heart, which is divine love, divine forgiveness, receptivity to tenderness, and light through the heart. And the secondary theme of the album is the divine feminine and the mother god, which is very controversial based on the way that I was raised to use a lot of male pronouns when speaking about the divine. I challenge that artistically. Spiritually, I still don't necessarily pray to a mother. I don't necessarily pray to her or she. A lot of my friends do, but my prayers are to a deity that I feel is very much you. I just pray to this deep connection that I feel to someone that I just call you, and this you is the other. This closeness that I feel that God connects with me, and I don't necessarily feel it's feminine or masculine, but I do think that there is something missing in my past experience with God as a feminine deity, and when I tap into all the history and all of the deep healing that has come through centuries of worshiping a divine feminine. I think that there's a hunger for that. And as an artist and as someone who wants to create music that can challenge people and that can inspire a new thought or a new consideration or a curiosity, I think that the divine feminine does that for a lot of people. And so my new music is my new album that I'm putting out. It's 4 songs, so it's more of an EP, but it's on the theme of the heart and the divine feminine. And I've been felt inspired to share some of my song circle music for that album. So a lot of the songs on that album are very simple and easy to sing along with, and quite repetitive in a way that I find to be trance-inducing in a great way to help you connect to your heart and help you connect to your fellow man, because they're easy songs to sing along with and to be able to imagine yourself singing with the entire world. And so that's a desire of mine, to bring more and more people into prayers for world peace through music.
Steph also shared with me about her experiences as a worship leader in high school. She says that although she was young, she was gifted in that area and enjoyed guiding people into the presence of God via music. This is something that continues in her life and in her work even today, albeit with a different spiritual community and vocabulary.
Through these song circles, we're singing about compassion, and we're singing about unity, and we're singing about opening our hearts, and we're singing about how much we desire world peace. And so in my mind, I think that the utility of it is really worth my time and energy as a musician and as a spiritual person, because I think music is a universal language, and I think it's our mother language. I think it precedes verbal communication, and I think that we all deeply understand and feel from a place of musical inspiration. And so I'm really grateful that I've had opportunity to do that.
As we closed out our conversation, I wanted to ask Steph if there was anything that she wanted to share, if there was any information or a message that she had for the average listener, for the person either seeking out or stumbling upon her music or performances. I wanted to know what her message was.
I feel like the suffering that is so present and the chaos that is so real and the darkness that feels engulfing in the world today can make a person feel hopeless and like there's nothing they can do. But I feel like believing more and more in the rescue that is there in the divine, and speaking as someone who has had the privilege of and the pain of being a mother myself. My boy, his name is Sam, he's 6 years old now, and having had carried him and nursed him and watched him suffer and tumble and grow and stretch himself into who he's becoming, and feel all of my expectations and desires for him, and pain of the loss of his babyhood, and hearing him cry out for me in the middle of the night, and wanting to do everything I can to protect him. And I feel like I can relate to a version of God that I want to see in the world. I would love to continue to see God bringing peace, and just recognize that we need our mama, and we need her to come soon and quickly to our aid, and so that we can so that we can have her help in healing the earth and healing our hearts and helping us forgive each other and helping us look past our differences and to see our similarities and to unify, to bring peace back to this planet and back to humanity and to everything that's living on this planet, to be able to pass it on as a better place to all the children that we're leaving it to.
Unfortunately, due to technical issues, the goodbyes of the interview were lost. So Steph, if you're listening, thank you for being my guest. Thank you for opening up so candidly about the things that matter most, and I, for one, can't wait until our paths meet again. This has been my interview with musician Steph Plant. You can stream her music anywhere you get yours, and follow her on Instagram at steph.plant, or reach her at stephplantbooks.com. I will now close with her song, Wonderful Wonders, the opening to 2011's A Reminder.
It is easy to stay unsatisfied. I get comfortable complaining. Everyone eventually just feels tired. We're too old to notice what deadly bee stingers, our brains and their perceptions, and all the dazzling reflections. Yes, it can be a struggle to remain always thankful, but if we open our eyes, we might be surprised to find that there are so many things to be happy about. There are so many things to be happy about. There are so many things to be happy about, and life is full of wonders, don't you know? Wonderful wonders, like how tiny the world is, and our grapes are delicious, and the eyeballs that we use to see a billion tints, shades, and